Welcome to Clear English Daily. Today's story is about change, not the loud, dramatic kind. The other kind, the kind that happens in silence, in small rooms, in ordinary moments that turn out to be extraordinary. The English is slow, rich, and clear. This is a C1 level story. Listen carefully. Her name was Mara, and for most of her adult life, she had been exceptionally good at disappearing. Not physically. She was present everywhere she was supposed to be, at the office by 8:30, at her mother's house every Sunday, at every birthday, every celebration, every gathering where her attendance was expected and her smile was sufficient. But somewhere along the way, she could never identify exactly when. The woman who had once had opinions about things, who had laughed loudly in public without checking herself, who had once cried at a piece of music in a crowded concert hall without the slightest embarrassment, had quietly packed her bags and left. What remained was efficient, reliable, pleasant, a perfectly functioning version of a person that everyone found easy to be around, precisely because she required nothing. She was 38 when she noticed. It happened on a Wednesday evening in February. She was washing dishes after dinner, alone, as usual, in her clean and orderly kitchen, when a song came on the radio. An old song, one she hadn't heard in 20 years. And something cracked. Not broke, cracked, the way ice cracks in spring before it finally gives way to the water beneath. She stood at the sink with her hand still in the warm water and she cried. Not delicately, not apologetically, the way you cry when something has been waiting a very long time to come out. When it was over, she dried her hands. She turned off the radio. She sat down at the kitchen table and looked at the walls of her apartment as though seeing them for the first time. Everything was tasteful, neutral, carefully chosen to offend no one, including herself. She thought, I don't know if I like any of this. And then more quietly, I don't know if I like any of myself. That was the beginning. She didn't quit her job. She didn't sell her apartment. She didn't make any of the grand gestures that transformation is supposed to require. Instead, she started small, almost imperceptibly small. She began waking up 30 minutes earlier, not to be productive, simply to sit with her coffee and exist without agenda. She started saying no to things, not dramatically, not with explanation or apology, just, no, I can't make it. And then, and this was the hardest part, she let the silence that followed simply exist without rushing to fill it. She bought a plant, then another, then a painting from a street market, loud and colorful and slightly chaotic, and hung it on the wall of her neutral apartment where it looked, initially, like a mistake. She left it there anyway. She signed up for a pottery class on a Tuesday evening when she would normally have been answering emails she could have answered the next morning. She was terrible at it. Her first bowl collapsed twice before it held its shape. She laughed, genuinely, without checking, and the sound surprised her. Months passed. The changes accumulated the way snow accumulates, each flake insignificant. The landscape transformed before you realize it's happening. She began to take up space differently, to speak in meetings before she had rehearsed her words into safety, to disagree occasionally with people she had always agreed with, simply because agreement was easier. Her mother noticed first. You seem different, she said one Sunday afternoon. Different how? Mara asked. Her mother considered this for a moment. More like yourself, she said finally, the way you were before. Mara thought about this on the drive home. She wasn't sure the woman she was becoming was the same woman she had been before. She thought she might be someone new entirely, someone constructed from the ruins of excessive agreeableness and years of careful self-erasure. But perhaps that was the point. Perhaps you don't return to yourself. Perhaps you build yourself, slowly, imperfectly, one collapsed bowl at a time. On the first anniversary of that February evening, Mara stood in her kitchen again. The same radio, the same sink, but the walls were different now. The loud painting, the plants crowding the windowsill, a photograph she loved pinned beside the door. She put on the song deliberately this time. She listened to it all the way through, and when it ended, she felt not the crack of that first night, but something warmer, something that had, against considerable odds, learned to take up space. The quiet revolution had no single victory, no moment of arrival. It was ongoing, as all real revolutions are, conducted in ordinary rooms, on unremarkable evenings, by people who simply decided, one small choice at a time, to stop making themselves smaller than they actually were. Thank you for listening. This story was made for anyone who has ever felt themselves disappearing. You are still there. Keep going. Watch this video again. You will hear something different the second time. New videos every week on Clear English Daily. Until next time.